You might have thought it was over, but think again. You're about to be thrust into a journey of unexpected twists and revelations, and Jupiter is here to ensure you realize that. After months of anticipation, the time has finally arrived when Jupiter, the planet of expansion and growth, is about to move direct, and it's set to prove you wrong in ways you never saw coming. For those who have eagerly awaited this moment, there's both excitement and fear that come with it. Opportunities, yes, will open up, but so too will the consequences of the choices made in the past. In the cosmic theater of life, everything that was once hidden, brewing beneath the surface, is now coming to light. The calm, almost safe atmosphere of Jupiter's retrograde has given you a glimpse of what lies beneath. But now, the surface is about to break open, and everything that has been slowly developing will rush forward in a torrent. The universe has had its hands tied, waiting for this precise moment, and now the floodgates are open. The once contained energies of fate, destiny, and cause and effect are no longer restrained. The dam that held everything in check is now gone, and what was once delayed or hidden is going to pour in all at once. But here's the thing. Not everyone is prepared for the floodwaters. While some may see this moment as a disruption or a setback, those who are spiritually aware know that this event is far from just a chaotic, uncontrollable force. It's a cosmic invitation to grow, evolve, and step into a higher level of responsibility. Those who've been paying attention to their inner guidance and preparing for this shift will feel a sense of empowerment as they witness their path unfold in profound ways. To understand what this means, consider Jupiter's retrograde as a cosmic grace period, a temporary phase where the universe held back its judgment, giving you time to reflect and adjust without facing the full consequences of your actions. It was a time of reflection, of seeing the gaps between your intentions and the reality you were living. During this period, many of the choices you made, whether they were conscious or unconscious, were suspended in a sort of stasis. It was as though there was a protective barrier around you, a cosmic buffer that delayed the natural repercussions of your decisions. But now, that protection is no more. The training wheels have come off and the safety net is gone. Now the universe is no longer giving you that grace period. It's time to face the music. The truth is that every decision, big or small, that you made during Jupiter's retrograde will now have a direct and noticeable impact. The risks you took, the choices you delayed, the shortcuts you leaned on, and even the small acts of dishonesty or evasion, all of it will return to you. Whether you were aware of it or not, this period was a moment of reckoning in slow motion. And now, as Jupiter goes direct, that slow motion phase is over. It's time for all of those hidden realities to come rushing back, whether you're ready for them or not. This moment isn't a punishment. It's an opportunity to learn, grow, and recalibrate your path. If you've been avoiding something or delaying responsibility, this is the time when it will be impossible to hide any longer. However, if you've been actively working on aligning your actions with your higher purpose, this is your chance to see the fruits of your labor begin to manifest in tangible ways. Jupiter's shift signals the end of stagnation and the beginning of forward momentum. The universe is no longer holding you in suspended animation. It's pushing you to evolve and confront whatever is necessary to grow into the next chapter of your life. So, take note. The choices you've made are no longer in the shadows. Whether it feels like a blessing or a challenge, this is your opportunity to rise to the occasion and embrace the unfolding path with open eyes and an open heart. Jupiter may have held back fate's full force for a while, but now, as the cosmic energy moves direct, it's your time to engage with whatever comes your way. Head on. Get ready for shocking twists, betrayals, and unexpected outcomes that will unfold in ways you never saw coming. The world is about to turn upside down, and those who thought they had escaped unscathed won't be so lucky. The ones who dismissed their gut instincts will soon realize how wrong they were, and those who chose the path of deceit will face a harsh awakening. And here's the kicker: it's only the beginning. What seemed like simple dreams, your inner guiding light, have now become warnings from a force far greater than you. While Jupiter was in retrograde, your dreams weren't mere fantasy. They were messages, fragments of hidden truths, and signals from the universe about the paths you're meant to follow. Some of you interpreted these dreams as signs of transformation, while others saw them as cryptic puzzles. Whether it feels like a blessing or a challenge, this is your opportunity to rise to the occasion and embrace the unfolding path with open eyes and an open heart. Jupiter may have held back fate's full force for a while, but now, as the cosmic energy moves direct, it's your time to engage with whatever comes your way. Head on. Get ready for shocking twists, betrayals, and unexpected outcomes that will unfold in ways you never saw coming. The world is about to turn upside down, and those who thought they had escaped unscathed won't be so lucky. The ones who dismissed their gut instincts will soon realize how wrong they were, and those who chose the path of deceit will face a harsh awakening. And here's the kicker: it's only the beginning. What seemed like simple dreams, your inner guiding light, have now become warnings from a force far greater than you. While Jupiter was in retrograde, your dreams weren't mere fantasy. They were messages, fragments of hidden truths, and signals from the universe about the paths you're meant to follow. Some of you interpreted these dreams as signs of transformation, while others saw them as cryptic puzzles. But as Jupiter shifts, that door is no longer closing. In fact, it's being flung wide open, allowing something else to step through, something profound and unknown. Now the nature of these dreams is changing. What once felt like peaceful guidance is turning darker, unsettling, and eerily vivid. You may soon find yourself encountering unfamiliar faces, walking through places you've never been, or feeling sensations that linger well after you wake. This isn't just a passing phase. People are waking up in cold sweats, feeling as though they've lived through something real and tangible, and in some cases, perhaps they have. When Jupiter was in retrograde, the veil between the physical and spiritual world was thin, but now, as it moves forward, the shadows are emerging. These dreams are not just manifestations of your fears. They are unearthing deeply buried emotions, unresolved wounds, and parts of yourself that you thought were long forgotten. The work of confronting your inner darkness, your shadow work, is no longer optional. It's coming for you whether you're ready or not. Even in the quietest moments when you least expect it, the subconscious is no longer asking for permission. It's forcing you to face those aspects of yourself that you've been avoiding. For some, these dreams have taken a prophetic turn. You may find yourself experiencing vivid glimpses of events before they happen, or seeing people who until now were strangers. These dreams are not random. They are glimpses into a reality where truth is no longer hidden. If you're having these types of experiences, it's crucial to pay attention. Jupiter, in its direct motion, is no longer concealing the truth, but be warned. What's being revealed may be more than you're prepared to handle. This truth doesn't always come wrapped in comfort. It might hurt, shock, or stir emotions long thought to be healed. But in the end, it will set you on a path to clarity, growth, and a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Prepare to face the hidden layers of reality. What was once concealed is now being brought into the light. So, the real question is, Are you ready for what's next? Jupiter, the great benefactor, has bestowed its blessings upon you, but now it's time to settle the tab. The planet of expansion, abundance, and luck is now direct, and while it's always been known for offering gifts, opportunities, growth, serendipitous moments, it also comes with a subtle but undeniable truth. Nothing in this world is truly free. Every blessing has its cost, even if it takes time for you to realize it. And this time, Jupiter is coming to collect. If you've been riding the wave of good fortune, enjoying the fruits of effortless opportunities or sudden windfalls, it's important to check in and reflect on how you've handled that abundance. Jupiter gives freely, but it also demands accountability. Did you take those gifts for granted? Did you squander the momentum it gave you? Or maybe get a little too comfortable in the good times, thinking they would last forever? Jupiter's energy is one that thrives on growth and improvement. If you've used the energy poorly, if you've taken shortcuts, ignored your responsibilities, or allowed the momentum to lull you into complacency, then now is when things can start to feel unsteady. When Jupiter goes direct, it's as if the planet is saying, "All right, you've had your time to enjoy the feast. Now, how did you manage it?" And if you haven't handled things with integrity or foresight, the results can be sharp and surprising. You might find yourself dealing with sudden financial hits, unexpected bills, or perhaps deals that once seemed secure falling through. Money can seem to evaporate from your life in mysterious ways, like a fog lifting and revealing what's been hidden beneath the surface. But it's not just about the material world. This isn't just a financial reckoning. This is about the energy you've been putting out into the universe. Have you taken people for granted? Have you made promises you didn't keep or neglected the relationships that supported you? Jupiter's lessons often extend beyond tangible wealth and into the realm of emotional, spiritual, and interpersonal debts. The truth is, you may owe people more than you think, and if you've left any of those debts unpaid, whether it's with family, friends, colleagues, or even yourself, now is the time when those things might resurface, and it can be uncomfortable. The price of neglecting your commitments, emotional or otherwise, may manifest as a sudden distancing from people, strained relationships, or a sense of betrayal. Yes, before watching the entire video, I want to say one thing. If you appreciate even a little bit of the effort I've put into this content, please consider donating a super thanks from your side so that you and your entire family can benefit from this positive energy. What's perhaps most unsettling about Jupiter's reckoning is that some people don't even realize they're in debt until it's too late. There's a tendency to think that everything is fine until something unexpected happens to jar you into awareness. Maybe you assumed that things would continue to flow easily because they had before. But Jupiter doesn't care about your assumptions. It's all about the cosmic law of cause and effect. It's about what you've put out into the world and what you've nurtured or neglected along the way. And here's the thing, this isn't meant to scare you. It's actually a profound moment of potential for growth. The price you pay isn't necessarily a punishment. It's an opportunity to recalibrate, to face the areas where you've fallen short, and to make things right. Because when Jupiter comes to collect, it also offers the chance to reset the balance, to learn from past mistakes, and to emerge even stronger. The universe is asking you, how will you rise to meet these challenges? Will you honor the lessons, make the necessary adjustments, and find a way to turn things around? Or will you resist and push against what's happening? This is a powerful time for reflection, for acknowledging what you owe, not just in terms of material wealth, but in terms of your commitments, your time, and your energy. It's time to take stock of how you've been using what you've been given and how you can use the lessons now to propel you forward with greater awareness and intention. Jupiter is a planet of growth, but only if you meet it halfway with honesty and integrity. So, take a moment to check in with yourself. What debts do you need to pay? And how can you clear the air? When you do, you'll find that Jupiter rewards those who face their shadows with courage, giving them even greater opportunities to expand and evolve in the future. You thought you were safe, but now it's time to rethink that. Jupiter's retrograde acted as a cosmic shield, slowing things down and keeping external energies at bay. It was like a protective barrier that allowed you to breathe, giving you space to reflect, strategize, and recalibrate your life. But now, as Jupiter stations direct, that shield has disappeared, and you might suddenly find yourself feeling exposed, raw, and vulnerable. The gentle energy that was there to cushion you is gone, and the world is crashing in with a force you didn't anticipate. You may have felt like you had everything under control, but now it seems like everything is coming at you all at once. Every frequency, every emotion, and every wave you thought you could handle now feels amplified, leaving you scrambling to regain balance. Have you been waking up drained for no reason, feeling like your energy reserves are constantly running on empty, even after a full night's sleep? That's because your aura is working overtime, absorbing everything around you, other people's emotions, the collective fear hanging in the air, and even unseen forces that you can't quite explain. It's like you're a sponge, soaking up the energies that don't even belong to you. And it's not just the positive or neutral vibrations. Your energy field is wide open, which means you're picking up on everything. The confusion, the anxiety, the sadness, the anger, and even the collective hopes and dreams. And while that might sound like a gift, it can also be incredibly draining, especially if you don't know how to protect your energy or cleanse yourself from these external forces. For some, this may translate into feeling emotionally unmoored, sudden mood swings, inexplicable tears, or irritability with no clear cause. You might find yourself crying out of nowhere or feeling on edge for reasons that don't seem to make sense. This isn't just a random phase. It's a reflection of the energy shifts you're absorbing and processing, whether you realize it or not. Jupiter's expansive nature isn't selective about what it amplifies. It expands everything. That includes the positive growth, but also the chaos, the confusion, and the overwhelming emotions you might not feel prepared to deal with. When Jupiter stations direct, it opens up a floodgate, and everything you've been holding in or avoiding can suddenly surface all at once. Your energy field is wide open now, and it's like standing in a storm without an umbrella, unprotected and exposed. You don't even realize what's affecting you until it's already inside. This is why it might feel like things that were once so clear and easy to understand now feel like a muddled mess. Your sense of self could begin to waver. You might question everything, your choices, your beliefs, your goals. Things you once cared about deeply may seem suddenly irrelevant, like they don't align with who you are anymore. What's even worse is the feeling of not being able to hold on to your own sense of identity, as though you're watching your life unfold from a distance, unsure of where you fit in or who you are anymore. It's like being in a constant state of flux with no solid ground to stand on. This is where the real transformation begins, because Jupiter's energy doesn't just bring growth, it brings rebirth. But before rebirth can take place, everything must be burned down. That means the old parts of you, the ones that no longer serve your higher purpose, need to be released, even if that process feels uncomfortable or frightening. It's like being in the cocoon, where everything around you is breaking down to make way for the butterfly. But during that breakdown, it can feel like your entire sense of self is crumbling. the person you thought you were, the version of yourself you've known for so long, suddenly doesn't feel familiar anymore. In the space of one moment, your entire identity may feel like a lie, like everything you've worked for or believed in no longer holds true. This isn't just a shift in mood, it's an ego death. It's the collapse of everything you believed about yourself and your place in the world. It's the uncomfortable process of confronting your true self, which may look very different from the person you thought you were. This can be terrifying because when the old version of you falls away, it can leave you with a big question. Who am I now? If I'm not the person I thought I was, then what does that mean for my future? This is the crux of the transformation, the tipping point where you have to sit with the discomfort of not knowing who you are or what your next move will be. But here's the key. This isn't the end. It's actually the beginning of something far more profound and expansive. Jupiter's energy isn't here to destroy you. It's here to help you grow. And sometimes, growth comes through the process of unlearning, releasing, and letting go of old identities that no longer align with your higher self. What feels like a collapse right now is just the space needed for new growth to emerge. The pieces of you that need to fall away will be replaced with something far more authentic, something that resonates with your true essence. This period of uncertainty and vulnerability is challenging, but it's also a precious opportunity for reinvention. It's a cosmic invitation to strip away the layers you've built up over time and step into a more expanded version of yourself. You're being asked to trust the process, even when it feels like everything you thought you knew is falling apart. Know that after the storm, you will emerge stronger, clearer, and more aligned with who you're meant to be. Jupiter's retrograde and direct motion have a way of reshaping us, breaking down the walls we've built around our hearts and minds. And while it may be uncomfortable, it's ultimately preparing you for the greatest growth of your life. So if you're feeling uncertain or lost right now, it's okay. This is part of the journey. Embrace the mystery, even if it's overwhelming. The person you're becoming is already within you. This is just the process of shedding what no longer fits. Let it burn. Let it fall away. The rebirth is on its way. This is the part that's rarely discussed, the in-between, the void where nothing makes sense. It's that liminal space where you're neither here nor where, and you can't go back to the way things were. You thought Jupiter's shift would finally bring the blessings you've been waiting for, the breakthroughs you've imagined. But now you're wondering if it was all just an illusion. For weeks, even months, you've been anxiously anticipating this moment. Jupiter's retrograde had left you feeling stuck, like the world was on pause. You kept hearing that once Jupiter went direct, everything would start moving, the tide would shift, and things would flow again. But now that it's direct, it feels like you're still standing still, or worse, everything seems to be going in reverse. Your dreams feel further away than ever. Your ideal job appears even more out of reach. And that relationship you've been manifesting feels like it's fading into the distance. Even your finances seem to be going in the wrong direction. It's easy to feel disheartened, like the universe isn't listening to your prayers, or worse, like it's playing some kind of twisted joke on you. But here's the truth. This isn't a joke. It's a test. Jupiter doesn't just hand you rewards or shower you with blessings without asking for something in return. Instead, it challenges you to grow and expand, because the rewards it offers are only sustainable when you've developed the capacity to handle them. Before you can truly receive the abundance you seek, you have to grow into the version of yourself who is capable of managing that abundance. And growth, as uncomfortable as it may be, is often not a gentle process. It's messy, uncomfortable, and requires shedding parts of yourself that no longer serve you. That's why it can feel like things are falling apart before they come together, because in many cases, they have to. If you asked for financial abundance, Jupiter will first test your relationship with a lack. Do you fear scarcity? Do you feel unworthy of wealth? It will bring those fears to the surface so that you can confront them and clear the way for true prosperity. If you called in love, it will show you the blockages, the old wounds, the limiting beliefs around worthiness, or the habits that have kept you stuck in unhealthy patterns. If you sought a new direction, it might first feel like everything is falling apart. Because sometimes the old life, the old identity, has to be burned away before the new one can emerge. This is the part that trips people up, the uncomfortable space where nothing seems to make sense. The temptation is to panic, to question everything you've done, or to doubt yourself. You might find yourself asking, did I make a mistake? Was I wrong to trust this process? But here's the kicker. If you panic or give in to doubt, you fail the test without even realizing it. The universe isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. And if you give up before the shift happens, you miss the opportunity to learn and grow through the discomfort. You miss the chance to realign with what you're truly capable of. The key here is understanding that this moment, this seeming setback, isn't the final outcome. It's the shake-up, it's the recalibration, it's the necessary disruption before the real change can come through. The universe has to clear out everything that's standing in your way. And if that means making things feel worse temporarily, then so be it. Most people don't realize this is the crucial point where many manifestations falter. Not because they weren't meant to happen, but because people give up too soon. They mistake this discomfort for failure, when in fact, it's the essential part of the process that makes the success truly sustainable. What you're experiencing right now isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. And if you can hold steady through the storm, if you can trust that things are shifting beneath the surface, you'll find that the blessings you've been waiting for will come through in ways you never imagined. But they won't come until you've cleared the obstacles, let go of the old stories, and done the internal work that allows you to fully step into the life you've asked for. So don't panic, don't give up. Trust that the universe is always conspiring in your favor, even when it feels like it's doing the opposite. Remember, growth never happens in the comfort zone. The universe is preparing you to receive everything you've asked for, but you have to be ready to receive it. And sometimes that means going through the discomfort of the void before you can emerge on the other side as the person you were always meant to be. So keep going, keep trusting. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. When things get tough, it's easy to assume that the universe is telling you this path isn't meant for you. You stop believing in your goals, and the natural response is often to walk away from what seemed to be unfolding. This is where many people falter, thinking that the end of one road is the end of the journey altogether. But the truth is, it's those who trust the process, the ones who stay steady even when everything around them feels like it's falling apart, who end up winning in the end. Success doesn't come from avoiding difficulty. It comes from learning how to navigate it with resilience and grace. So, the real question isn't whether your manifestations are on their way. They are. The universe is always working behind the scenes, aligning everything for your highest good. The real question, however, is what happens when those manifestations are on the verge of arriving, but your mind brings up memories from the past that you weren't prepared for. It could be a moment from high school when you weren't at your best, a decision that seemed small at the time, but now feels incredibly significant. That awkward moment, that one conversation, that regret you thought you buried, suddenly, it's all resurfacing. What happens next is that one thought spirals into another. The mind can be relentless, and before you know it, you're emotionally reliving moments from years ago. The feelings of shame, guilt, or regret come flooding back, and it feels like you're trapped in a loop of the past. But this is not just a random occurrence, and it's not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's actually a powerful moment of healing in disguise. Jupiter, the planet of expansion and wisdom, isn't just working on your external world. It's also working on your internal world. Jupiter is about bringing you closer to the truth, and that means any unresolved feelings or unfinished business from the past are likely to surface now. You may have brushed these things off before, told yourself they weren't important anymore, or convinced yourself they didn't matter. But here's the thing. Energy doesn't disappear. It doesn't simply vanish because you chose not to deal with it. Instead, it waits until you're ready to confront it. And if you're experiencing a moment where old memories come rushing back, it's likely that Jupiter's energy is nudging you to face what you've been avoiding. At first, this can feel overwhelming, like you're being suffocated by the weight of past decisions. It may even seem like a cruel twist of fate, as if just when you thought you were on the brink of something good, the past rears its head. But before you get lost in that emotional spiral, take a step back and ask yourself, is this guilt or regret really serving me right now? Guilt has a way of making us believe that we are forever bound to the mistakes of our past, that we are somehow unworthy of moving forward. But the truth is, when guilt is carried for too long, it turns into self-punishment. It becomes a chain that holds you in a place of stagnation, preventing growth and evolution. Jupiter's energy is about expansion, not just of the external world, but of your understanding, wisdom, and inner growth. Jupiter doesn't want you to remain stuck in the past. It wants you to take what you've learned from it and use it to fuel your future. You don't have to carry the weight of past mistakes or missed opportunities. The lessons are important, yes, but they don't define you. You're not meant to walk around with the burden of old guilt forever. You're meant to understand the lesson, let it go, and then move forward with the wisdom it has given you. This is the beauty of Jupiter's influence. It allows you to integrate your past with your present, without letting it control your future. So, when those old memories come flooding in, don't resist them. Acknowledge them, sit with them for a moment, and then ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Every experience, even the painful ones, carries wisdom. The key is not to let those experiences hold you hostage, but to extract the lesson and then free yourself from the emotional weight. The universe, and Jupiter in particular, is guiding you through this process because you are ready to release the past and step into the version of yourself that is fully aligned with your current path. Trust that the universe is unfolding your manifestations as they are meant to. The obstacles you face are just part of the journey, not the end of it. Each challenge is an opportunity to clear away the debris of old emotional baggage so you can make space for the abundance and wisdom that is coming your way. The more you trust this process, the more you allow yourself to grow, evolve, and embrace the unfolding of your life's journey. In the end, the past will always be a part of you, but it doesn't have to define your future. Your manifestations are coming, not in spite of your challenges, but because of them. When you rise above the weight of guilt and regret, you become stronger, wiser, and more in tune with your true path. Keep going. The best is yet to come. So, what do you do when faced with this challenge? You face it head-on, not by retreating into self-pity or denial, but by taking a moment to truly acknowledge what's going on. The hardest part isn't necessarily what's happening around you, but what's happening inside of you. The tendency is to avoid or push down uncomfortable feelings, but that only prolongs the cycle. Instead, the real power comes from embracing the discomfort, understanding it, and deciding how you want to move forward. Maybe facing it means making amends. Sometimes the wounds we carry are from things we've done or said, and the path to healing is through direct accountability. It's not about beating yourself up, but recognizing where things went wrong and owning your part in it. Apologizing, even when it's difficult, can open doors to forgiveness and growth, not just from others, but from yourself. Other times, facing it could mean forgiving yourself. We're often our harshest critics, especially when we feel we've fallen short. But sometimes, the truth is that at any given moment, you were doing the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had. We cannot change the past, but we can change the way we relate to it. Letting go of that internal guilt and embracing self-compassion can be one of the most liberating decisions you'll ever make. Then, there's the option of finally letting go of the belief that you should have done better. There is a subtle but powerful trap in thinking that with more time or more effort, you could have controlled the outcome. The truth is that some things were out of your hands, and no amount of second-guessing will change the past. The universe has a way of teaching us that we can't always bend life to our will, but we can choose how we respond to it. The tricky part is that if you don't face this challenge, if you sweep it under the rug or pretend it doesn't exist, Jupiter will ensure that it will show up in your life in another form. It will manifest in the external world, sometimes in ways that are more difficult to ignore. This is not a punishment, but an opportunity to step into a higher level of awareness. The retrograde period was the testing ground, a time for reflection and introspection. But now, it's game time. Now, you're being asked to take what you've learned and put it into action. And here's the thing. The universe is watching you, not in some abstract or far-off sense, but in every moment. Every decision, reaction, and choice you make will be under the microscope, not to judge you, but to see where you are truly aligned. The energy around you is shifting, and the actions you take now are laying the groundwork for what's to come. This isn't some vague cosmic oversight. It's a direct reflection of what you're ready to embrace next. These moments, when it feels like the stakes are high and everything is in flux, are when your true readiness is tested. How you show up for yourself and others in the coming days is a clear signal about what you are prepared for and what you're not yet ready to handle. If you're still clinging to old stories, old hurts, or unhealed wounds, the universe may keep presenting them to you until you finally let them go. But if you rise to the challenge and act with clarity, integrity, and wisdom, you'll be ushered into the next phase of your journey, one that is shaped by your growth and newfound understanding. It's not easy, and there will undoubtedly be moments when you question if you're doing the right thing. But this is the nature of growth. It's uncomfortable, messy, and sometimes feels like you're walking into the unknown. But when you confront your reality with courage and authenticity, there's no telling what you'll find on the other side. One thing is for sure. The universe is paying attention, and it's rooting for you to rise. And here's the truth that many people don't want to hear. This is where most will fail without even realizing it. They'll get swept up in the illusion of progress and success, acting out of fear rather than clarity. Fear of missing out, fear of being left behind, or simply the fear of not doing enough. It manifests in different ways, jumping into something they know deep down isn't right for them because they're impatient, desperately trying to make something work that's already falling apart, or worse, convincing themselves they're fine when deep inside. They know they're avoiding the very test Jupiter has placed in front of them. They'll ignore the signs, push through the discomfort and pretend everything is okay, all the while pushing further away from their true purpose. And months from now, they'll wonder why nothing has changed, why they feel stuck in the same cycle, or why their manifestations still feel just out of reach, like something distant and untouchable. They'll look back, questioning why their efforts haven't paid off, despite the time and energy they've invested. But the thing is, Jupiter isn't here to punish anyone. It's not about making people suffer. It's about filtering out the noise, separating those who have truly learned from those who are just going through the motions, pretending they're evolving while avoiding the real work. The truth is, manifestation isn't about force or hustle. It's about alignment. It's about understanding that timing is everything. And often timing means patience, not rushing into things just to satisfy immediate desires. The ones who succeed, the ones who truly flourish in this process, aren't the loudest, the flashiest, or the ones who are constantly pushing and forcing things into place. They're the ones who get that patience isn't passive. It's an active state of trust, a quiet knowing that what's meant for them will come at the right time, and it's worth waiting for. Trust isn't just about waiting for things to happen. It's about deep belief that the universe, or Jupiter in this case, is orchestrating things on your behalf, even when it feels like nothing is moving. It's about letting go of the need to control and trusting that you're being guided toward what is meant for you. The ones who succeed are the ones who have learned to rest in that trust, to allow things to unfold in their own time, and to work with the flow rather than against it. And here's the kicker. Most people think they're doing the right things by staying busy, by running after whatever's shiny or trending, but they miss the point. The universe isn't looking for more noise. It's looking for alignment, authenticity, and surrender. And that's hard for people to grasp because surrender feels like giving up, like not doing enough. But in reality, true surrender isn't weakness. It's a powerful act of faith, a deep trust that whatever is meant for you will come when it's meant to. And your job is to be ready, not by force, but by being fully yourself, by clearing out the clutter of distractions, and by standing in your own worth. So when you're standing at the crossroads, unsure of which direction to take, remember that the answer isn't always in the next step, but in the pause. It's in the stillness. It's in the patience that allows you to hear the whispers of what's truly meant for you, rather than the noise of your fears or the pressure to move faster. The universe rewards those who trust the process, not those who try to rush it. It's easy to get caught in the trap of, "I need this now," but real success, the kind that lasts, is built on the foundation of knowing that everything comes in its own time. And when you stop chasing and start aligning, you'll find that the things you've been waiting for come to you effortlessly. Patience isn't just a virtue, it's the key to unlocking everything you've been manifesting. They understand that the current moment isn't about pushing or striving aggressively for immediate outcomes. It's about aligning with the energy of what's happening now. In many ways, it's about setting the foundation for growth without forcing it and allowing space for transformation to unfold naturally. This test, this subtle challenge, doesn't always announce itself with loud alarms or visible signs. Instead, it appears in the quiet moments when you least expect it, when you're faced with a snap decision, a split-second choice that could either keep you aligned with your higher self or pull you back into an old pattern. These moments are often quiet, sneaky, and easily overlooked. They may present themselves as situations that trigger you emotionally, perhaps an old relationship dynamic that resurfaces, a fear that you thought you had conquered, or even a habit you've been working to break that suddenly reappears in the most familiar form. In these moments, the real test is not what happens outside of you, but how you respond. It's not the event that defines your growth, but how you rise above it. The real question is whether you've done the inner work to notice these triggers and resist falling into the same cycle of delay or distraction that you've been trying to break free from. What's fascinating is that these tests can feel deceptively small. They might not feel like big, life-changing moments at the time, but that's the trick. Growth often happens in the quiet, incremental steps. It's when you're able to resist the urge to react impulsively or fall back on old patterns that you realize you've passed the test. The real victory is in your ability to align with your inner wisdom, rather than reacting out of habit or fear. If you're still with me, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to reflect with me. It means more than you know to have your attention in this space. If this resonated with you, or if you feel like it could be helpful to someone else, please consider subscribing. Your support means the world. It's what helps me continue to create content that I hope speaks to where we are all at in our journeys. I'd love to hear your thoughts, experiences, or even your challenges when it comes to navigating these quiet tests. Have you ever found yourself in a moment where you had to pause, reflect, and make a choice that shifted your path? Feel free to share in the comments below. I genuinely believe that when we open up about these things, we create space for deeper connection and understanding. Until next time, take care of yourself, be kind to your inner process, and keep aligning with what feels true. Remember, it's not about pushing yourself to the limit, but about aligning with the flow of where you are meant to be. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights. I'm excited to continue this journey with you.